In the heart of ancient China, a prominent figure emerged, King Wu of Zhou, also known as GFA. He was not just a king but a symbol of perseverance, strength, and wisdom. Born during a time when the Shang Dynasty was declining, GFA experienced the harsh cruelty and corruption of King Zhou. The painful memories of his childhood forged a man with unwavering determination, ready to change the fate of an entire nation. GFA grew up in a noble family, but unlike many of his contemporaries, he did not enjoy the privileges of the ruling class. His father, King Wu of Zhou, was a visionary leader, always concerned about the situation of the people and aware of the responsibilities of leadership. From a young age, GFA was taught the principles of humanism and the importance of caring for his subjects and building a just society. These lessons became deeply engraved in his mind, shaping him into a leader who envisioned peace and prosperity. GFA's youth was not only filled with learning, but also marked by witnessing the suffering of the people. He often accompanied his father to distant lands, where the farmers lived in dire conditions, oppressed by the Shang officials. The stories of these struggling people, who were forced to abandon their homes in search of a better life, weighed heavily on his heart. On one occasion, he heard an impoverished farmer lament, "I only wish to live in peace, not as a dog, trampled by the powerful." Such words were not merely expressions of despair. They echoed a call for conscience within him, fueling his resolve to do something for his people. In the context of a troubled nation, GFA realized that the Shang Dynasty was no longer capable of protecting its citizens. King Zhou, with his brutal and insatiable greed, led the dynasty down the path of destruction. GFA vowed to become the leader his people needed, one who would stand against tyranny and bring light to those living in darkness. When his father passed away, GFA ascended to the throne, bearing a heavy burden of responsibility. He inherited not only power, but also the hopes of the people. He began to build a strong support base, gathering feudal lords who shared the desire to resist the oppression of the Shang. During this time, GFA was not just a military leader, but also a thinker, emphasizing the importance of unity and loyalty among the vassals. Real challenges began as GFA and the Zhou army faced fierce battles. Under his leadership, the Zhou army carried out various attacks to draw attention from other feudal lords and the populace, thus creating a stronger support system for a brighter future. In one decisive battle, when the Shang army was overwhelming, GFA showcased his military talent with sophisticated strategies and superior leadership. He meticulously outlined plans and organized the army in a way that allowed them to defeat their enemies without excessive bloodshed. One of the most memorable moments in GFA's military career was the Battle of Mai. In the days leading up to the battle, he held an oath ceremony with his soldiers, promising that they would not fight for personal glory but for the people and the nation. During this ceremony, the eyes of each soldier shone with determination, sensing the faith that GFA inspired. These pledges became a powerful motivator, leading them into battle with courage and resolve. As the battle drums beat, the fight between the Zhou and Shang erupted. GFA led his forces with absolute confidence, relying not only on strength, but also on strategy and psychological warfare. While the Shang soldiers became ensnared in confusion, many deserted or defected to the Zhou side, tipping the balance of power in favor of GFA. As the Zhou army advanced into the Shang capital, GFA could not shake a deep sense of sorrow. Despite the victory within his grasp, he felt a profound sadness at the sight of a once great dynasty now in ruins due to tyranny. King Zhou, once a powerful ruler, was now just a shadow of his former self, isolated in the face of public outrage and fear from his own soldiers. When GFA entered the capital of the Shang Dynasty, he did not feel the exultation of a conqueror, but rather a deep sorrow at the collapse of a once mighty dynasty. The history of the Shang had undergone many glorious periods, but the cruel reign of King Zhou had led the entire dynasty to decay. Although a victor, he felt a heavy heart before the remnants of a civilization that had been destroyed by greed and abuse of power. As the soldiers marched into the palace, they did not only find treasures piled high, But they also uncovered countless extravagant items that King Zhou had hoarded for lavish feasts and meaningless projects that he had built to satisfy his desires. Everything radiated the opulence and arrogance of a man who saw himself as the son of heaven, ruler of the world. These sights fueled GFA's determination that his reign would never tread the same path. Before the execution of King Zhou, a once mighty king, now reduced to a shadow of himself, he was brought before GFA. The days of his tyranny had come to an end, and before him stood the man carrying the hopes of millions. Yet instead of hatred, GFA regarded him with compassion. He understood that the price of arrogance and cruelty was always decline. In that moment, he saw not just King Zhou, but also the lesson for himself and for future generations. After defeating King Zhou and the Shang, GFA began laying the foundations for the Zhou Dynasty, a dynasty he promised would be a beacon of justice and fairness. He did not immediately proclaim himself king. Instead, he spent time consolidating his power, restoring trust among the people. To achieve this, GFA not only reformed tax policies and laws, but also placed great emphasis on the welfare of the impoverished. He expanded granaries, provided farmland for the landless, and organized numerous gatherings to hear the voices of the people. Throughout this process, he realized that a true king was not someone who sat upon a throne, but one who empathized with the people and understood their struggles. On one occasion, GFA visited a remote village where the inhabitants lived in poverty. He did not just inquire. He worked alongside them, sharing their burdens, which deeply touched the hearts of the people and fortified their trust in their king. The image of a king caring for his subjects became a symbol of the Zhou Dynasty, representing a fair and progressive regime. In addition to addressing the needs of the people, GFA also prioritized establishing a clean government. He selected officials based on merit and virtue, rather than status or family connections. Those who did not adhere to these principles were severely punished, regardless of whether they were noble or commoners. The Zhou Dynasty gradually became a symbol of justice and order, where everyone had equal rights before the law. As the Zhou Dynasty solidified its power, GFA grew increasingly aware that the responsibility of a leader was not merely to rule, but to guide the people toward values of humanity. He organized many public meetings, allowing citizens to voice their opinions. This not only helped him understand the needs and desires of the populace, but also established a foundation for unity between the government and the people. As time passed, the achievements of GFA were recognized in the annals of history. The people revered him not only for his military successes, but also for his character and the compassion he showed to them. His name became synonymous with a just dynasty, a testament to the power of perseverance and determination in building a better society. In his later years, having become a respected and beloved king, GFA often sat by the river where he once pondered the fate of his nation. The stories of time, perseverance, and resolution had engraved themselves deeply in his mind. King Wu of Zhou was not just a great ruler. He was a man who left an indelible mark on history, a testament to the strength of compassion and commitment to the people. When he passed away, the entire nation mourned the loss of a great king. The farewell ceremony for him was conducted with grandeur, and people from all over came to bid farewell to the leader they had cherished. Tears flowed, but alongside them were prayers for him, praying for the dynasty he had tirelessly built to thrive forever. The legacy that GFA left behind was not only that of a powerful dynasty, but also that of a leader who stood for his people's rights. He proved that true strength lies not in absolute power, but in compassion and responsibility towards the citizens. His image will forever live in the hearts of the people, as a beacon of hope and aspiration for a better future for all.